One of the biggest mistakes that adoptive parents make is to not talk about adoption with their child and not give them opportunities to express their feelings. And when they don't have these opportunities, the feelings go underground and come out as behavioral problems, difficulties in school, and sometimes they get misdiagnosed as other things rather than grieving. The most important thing about talking to your child about adoption is that you speak to them at the level that they can understand. When my son was 5 and he wanted to know where babies come from, which is the age when children want to know that, I explained to him that he was adopted, and he put his hands over his ears and then he said, "Tell me again." And then he wanted to know why, and I explained to him that his birth parents were very poor and couldn't take care of him. And he asked, why didn't they go to the bank and get some money? And these are examples of a 5-year-old child's cognitive and developmental level. And so when you're first talking about adoption to them, you have to keep it very simple and very clear. As they get older, you can have more sophisticated conversations with them. Children do think about their birth families and their adoption stories, even if they don't talk about it. Adoptive parents like to believe that if they're not talking about it, they're not thinking about it, but it's by and large not the case. Children don't bring up their adoption questions with parents if they have the slightest feeling that it's going to make the parents uncomfortable or feel threatened. And I would say more of the time than not, it does. Adoptive parents want to feel like they are the parents and that their children are their children and that all that is in the past, but it really is there in everybody's psyche. Adoptive families are different because everybody has experienced a loss. And it's so hard for adoptive parents to really feel that their children have lost something because they wanted them so much. But if you think about it, adopted children have lost their birth families, being placed for adoption. Adoptive parents have lost the dream of a biological child very often, not always, but very often. And birth parents have lost the child that they gave birth to. So everybody has grief, and it's greatly relieving when there's permission and space and acknowledgement for this grief to happen. The wonderful thing about being part of an adoptive parent support group is that you have support from other people who've had very similar or same experience to you. You've all come to your children in very unique and unusual and stressful ways. You've been through a lot to have these children, and you're going through a lot with them very often. And I find in my groups that the parents come up with wonderful ideas for each other, in addition to my suggestions and guidance.